If I had to give a 30-second overview on the Brown Buffalo Conceal, I'd say it was a sleek-looking everyday carry pack, amazingly constructed from top-shelf materials. With a simple, highly customizable design that can be fun to pack with modular accessories and a large, boxy frame that holds more than the listed 21 liters. I've liked the look of the Conceal pack for a long time, so it's surprising to me that it's taken me so long to get around to reviewing this bag. However, I think my focus on larger travel backpacks has taken my attention away from smaller, everyday carry packs like the Conceal 21. I want to start this review out jumping right into a capacity test, because when I look at the Conceal 21 here, comparing it to other similarly sized bags, for example, the Evergoods CPL 24, the Conceal looks to me to be at least the same size, if not larger, despite being only a 21 liter pack. I'll start by filling the bag with as many packing peanuts as I can get in here and transfer it into a marked container. This is the Conceal packed out with as many peanuts as I could get in here. It's soft-sided on the front, so I tried to stay true to that 6-inch depth here. It's pretty hard though, because the way they have it measured out, it's pretty much 6 inches just from seam to seam here, not really taking into account this front pocket, which has a little bit of its own volume, and it's hard to pack this bag without popping this out a little bit. So as I suspected there, this is about 25, a little under 25, so I'd say realistically probably looking at more like a 23 to 24 liter pack. Which really makes sense, because looking at these packs, this is the Air City Pack Pro 24, and it's at least the same size as this bag. Also note that despite the smaller size in this bag, it is rather tall at 19 inches, which is going to make this too big to work for most personal items and most airlines. And because this bag is skinny 6 to 7 inches, depending on how you pack it, it's not going to be a great use of space on an airline, which often allow these bags to be a little thicker, up to 8 inches. So while the Conceal could easily be used in the overhead as a carry-on, I think the best use on this pack is for an everyday carry bag. And for this review, I'm just going to largely skip over the materials and craftsmanship. This bag has been out for a while, and Brown Buffalo is very well known for making high quality gear with top quality materials, and that's definitely true on the Conceal. Instead, I think you'll find this review much more interesting if I instead focus on some of the things I like and don't like about this pack, compare it to some other bags with similar styles, and show you some examples on how to pack this bag. Overall, the Conceal pack is a very simple design, but it's built with a large degree of customization in mind. Mainly Velcro panels on the back and bottom of the main compartment, lining the front pocket as well as the laptop compartment. So really, well, there's not all that many pockets, main laptop, front, as well as these sleeves and dividers on the inside of the lid. You are able to endlessly customize this bag, adding admin panels, sleeves, and pouches almost anywhere you want. Of the two things that give me the biggest beef with this bag, they're both on the back, and namely the sometimes awkward carry straps and this slightly undersized laptop compartment. It's called the Conceal because of the location of the laptop sleeve. You can see very sleek, flush with the back padding here. Almost hard to see it if you don't point it out. Contrast that to designs like the GoRuck GR1, which is a very obvious laptop sleeve zipper that sticks out from the back panel. So while this is a really nice looking sleek design, it does lead to a couple issues with access. First of all, the bottom of the strap, shoulder strap, is slightly blocking the bottom of the zipper. Not that big of a deal, just move the strap out of the way to get to this sleeve. However, this is a 15.5-inch dowel. It doesn't actually fit in there, but when you try to slide it in just straight on, if you want to get a laptop in here, you have to put it in at an angle and twist it, and then it fits much easier. And backwards, getting it out the same way. So not really that big of a deal. Kind of catches in the bottom here once you get used to it, but definitely a little bit of an inconvenience. And the second potential issue I mentioned with the carry system is these shoulder straps can feel a little bit weird depending on how you're carrying the pack. If we look closer at the attachment on the shoulder straps, you can see they're fairly angled here. They go right into the top of the pack, and the material becomes a little bit fatter at the attachment point. This is especially noticeable comparing to other packs like the Air City Pack Pro. You can see the angle on these is much flatter compared to the Conceal, and these are going to taper instead of get fatter where they attach to the pack. So what happens for me when I put this on my shoulder is these straps tend to turn to accommodate the angle of my shoulder, and the strap kind of twists a little bit, so it's going to put more pressure on the outside, kind of lift up on the inside near my neck. It's kind of hard to show this on the camera, but you can see the strap is a little bit more angled than my shoulder blades are, so it's pressing a little bit more on my shoulder on the outside. And the inside, it's actually raised a little bit. You can see I can stick my hand in here and it's really barely even touching my shoulder at all on the inside. However, I found it really makes a difference on how I'm wearing the pack and what I have in it. For example, when I'm wearing it a little bit lower right now, the strap angle is much more pronounced, but when I hike the bag up, pull the straps in, get it much tighter on my back, then this problem with the strap issue largely goes away. So I found the comfort on this bag is going to be highly dependent on how I'm carrying the pack. Also the amount of weight I have in here. When I weigh the bag, a little bit more heavy stuff pulls the bag down, and the straps tend to sit more flush on my shoulders. I suspect this is not the case for everybody. It's going to depend on your body shape and how well this bag fits on you. I'd be curious if there's any other Conceal owners out there. Share their experience in the comments on how this bag fits for you. So now I'll show you some packing configurations on the Conceal. I don't really have that much in the way of Velcro accessories, so I'll just show you packing this bag with pouches and packing cubes. So a couple of packing cube configurations that work. Remember, this is not a super wide bag, so you're gonna want to kind of something medium, about 12 inches wide. These are the Peak Design packing cubes. And well, these do fit in here really nicely. They do stick up a little bit, and this will pretty much completely take up the volume on the pack. If you're using packing cubes, I'd recommend just trying to get all your stuff into one smaller one so you have room on the top of the bag for all your other gear. Other packing cubes that work well, these are from 6 Moon Designs. Those fit in there nicely, as well as Matador packing cubes. These are nice because these 2 sets will fit the taper of the top of the bag well. Also, GoRuck, these are compression cubes. These are a little bit thinner than some of those other options, so it's going to give you a little bit more room on the top for some smaller gear. And really, you just kind of have to play Tetris with these cubes. Let's say you have clothes, one of these smaller Matador cubes, camera case, little Peak Design camera cube with a drone in there, and then some more room over here on the side for a couple of more pouches. You also have these sleeves in the top pockets to consider. These are quite large. You can easily fit a 1-liter Nalgene in both of these. However, got to take into account when you're packing these up, you're going to be putting this thing over in the main compartment, so you can't put too much in here if you have the bottom of this side of the pack full to the top. You do actually have some wiggle room in here though, because I'm going over the rim here, but you can see on this lid, this top pocket doesn't actually start until you get up to this seam right here. So you have a little bit of volume over the kind of the zipper width and a little bit up to pack the main compartment. But again, you got to be careful with these inside pockets. So I'll put this fat Nalgene in here, and you can see I try to pack that up. I'm just way sticking out here, so that's really not going to work. But if I make some changes to how the bag is configured, I'll take these pouches out. You can see long skinny pouches, toiletry bag over here. I'll switch out the hard Nalgene, put that in the main compartment, put these skinny pouches up here in the sleeves. Now you can see when I close the bag, it's much more flush and looks way better. So now you still have that front panel. Again, large pocket. It does have a little bit of its own volume, but it's not very fat. So kind of thinner things, admin pouches, Evergoods Cap 1. That's going to easily fit in there, stuff like that. So I mentioned I was going to show you some side-by-side comparisons. I'm not going to do a detailed overview here, but just highlight the major features. For example, this is Brown Buffalo Conceal 21, Evergoods CPL Civic Panel Loader 24. The major differences here are this bag has a much slimmer profile, especially on the front. laptop zipper on the side, much more prominent. It has more exterior pocket organization. It has a top organizational pocket here. This front pocket, especially the ones on the inside, are gonna have a lot more volume, but the interior capacity in this main compartment is considerably smaller than the Conceal. Bringing in the Air Pro Pack 2, this has external water bottle pockets, which is nice. You also have more exterior organization, front pocket, large admin pocket here, small top slash pocket. Laptop access is gonna be from the top instead of from the side, but also again, kind of the same limited smaller capacity in the main compartment. Next, I have the GoRuck GR21. This is the 26 liter. This is more similar to the Conceal in terms of just larger front panel design and simple interior volume. The laptop on this bag is definitely not concealed. It has a considerably stiffer backpack carry design compared to the Conceal, but the interior actually looks really similar. Large interior main compartment, a couple pockets here on the lid side. So that's all I have to show you for comparison. There are other bags that have similar features, but I think that's a good overview so you can kind of see some of the major differences between some competing brands and the features on the Conceal, which again, I think can be a really fun bag to organize and pack if you really get into pouches, admin sleeves, everyday carry gear, but this bag can certainly be used as a weekend travel bag as well. I hope you enjoyed this review on the Brown Buffalo Conceal 21. Please let me know in the comments if you have any questions, and again, thanks for watching.